You are now listening to the Highly Evolved Podcast. You can find this channel on Twitter, Gab.ai, BitChute, and Minds.com. This is a Real American Patriot channel for Real American Patriots. If you're not a Real American Patriot, please exit the channel. Furthermore, we are not sponsored by any outside interference. That means we're unscripted, unrehearsed, and unedited. With that being said, transmission will commence momentarily.
How you guys doing? Welcome to the HighlyEvolvedPodcast. Podcast. I'm your host, Safan. Find me at Minds.com, BitChute, Twitter, Gab.com. Most importantly, like, share, subscribe, because your support helps a lot. On that note, guys, let's start the show. In this episode, I want to discuss what's Donald Trump saying about the Iran sanctions. He's according to this article I read, he's gonna give a lot of help to Europeans who gonna do a deal with Iran. All right, so Iran's gonna be sanctioned off. All right. And this, according to this article from Zero Hedge, let me read it out to you guys. Give me 1 second. All right, give me one moment. I appreciate your patience. I really appreciate your patience. Give me 1 second. This is a report from Zero Hedge. I'll leave a link in the description below if you're interested in reading it. But let me read it for you. Trump to unleash hell on Europe. EU announces channel to circumvent SWIFT and Iran sanction is now operational. All right. With the world waiting for the first headline from the Trump Z meeting, and the most important unexpected news of the day is a moment ago, with European announced a special trade channel, INSTEX, that will allow European firms to avoid SWIFT and bypass American sanctions on Iran. It's now operational, so it's basically going full effect, right? The following meeting between countries who sing that Iran nuclear deal, also known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, which as ditched it by U.S., France, Britain, German officials, said the merchandise which was proposed last summer and called INSTEX is now operational. As a reminder, last September, in order to maintain a financial relationship with Iran that cannot be vetoed by U.S., European unveiled a special proposal vehicle by passing SWIFT, a mechanism would facilitate transaction between European and Iranian companies while preventing the U.S. from vetoing transactions and pursuing punitive measures on those companies and state that defy Trump. The payment balance system allowed companies in Europe to buy Iran goods and vice versa without actual money transferring between European and Iran banks. Because I think Donald Trump came out of nowhere and said, "You want to make a deal with Iran? We're gonna sanction you too." That's what I heard through the grapevine. The statement came after the remaining signature of the JCPOA gathered in Vienna for the meeting of Iran ministry. All right, spokesman of Abbas I'm butchering names. Musa called the last chance to remain parties to gathered and see how they can meet their commitment towards Iran. Until today, Tehran was skeptic about EU commitment to deal with threatening to exceed the maximum amount of enriched uranium, allowing it by the deal after the U.S. and imposed series of sanctions on this country. Of course, we're sanctioning the heck out of Iran. Meanwhile, opponents of the INSTEX, also exclusively the United States, have argued that the mechanism is flawed because of Iranian institution designated to work on the INSTEX. The special trade, a financial instrument, had sharehold with links of the entire already facing sanction from the U.S. Excuse me, guys. I'm experiencing hay fever right now, so I might sniff here and there. The announcement set oil sharply lowered, with crude future falling about $1 per barrel in closing minutes before sentiments extending daily loss, and means that now has fully functioning pathway to receive a payment of oil exporting to any of its shows. The announcement will likely to send President Trump off the rail because of the late May Bloomberg report that as part of the Trump's escalating battle with European allies over the fate of Iran nuclear accord, he was threatened penalty against financial bodies created by Germany, UK, France, and Shield to trade with Islamic Republic from U.S. sanction, including the loss of access to the U.S. financial system. According to Bloomberg, the Treasury Department, under Secretary of Terrorism and Financial Intelligence, Sigal Mandeler, sent a letter on May 7 warning Instex and European SPV sustains trade with Tehran, and anyone associated with could be barred from U.S. financial system to go in effect. Exactly, that's what he just said. I just mentioned this earlier, right? If anybody were to go any trade with Iran, they're gonna be in the sanction as well. All right, he's telling them. All right, if you're gonna do any business, Iran's already been sanctioned, right? So he basically, if any country were to, when you're in sanction, that means they're supposed to say, all the other countries that's affiliated with the World Trade Organization are supposed to collaborate together and be on the same side. All right, don't do no business with these countries. Right, that's how you're supposed to imply this power, economic sanctions. Now, what's Donald Trump saying that? All right, we applying the sanction, but if any country out there are defying that sanction, we're gonna put sanction on you as well, right? I urge you to carefully consider potential sanction exposure of the Instex. And that's what they're doing. They try to bypass their sanction by not trading money. Madelcover wrote in an ominous letter to the Instex president Per Fischer, engaging activity and run afoul of U.S. sanction can result in several consequences, including loss of access to U.S. financial system. Exactly. Germany, France, and UK finalized the Instex system in January, allowing companies to trade with Iran without using the U.S. dollars and American banks, allowing them to get around the wide-range U.S. sanction that was imposed by the Trump administration, abandoned in 2015 the nuclear deal last year. So basically, they're circumventing the situation by not using American dollars. What, are they going to use cryptos? Maybe, I don't know. This is a short across the blow of the European political establishment committing to using Instex and sanction-connected Iranian counterparts to circumvent U.S. measures, said Mark Dobowitz, the chief executive officer of the Foundation of Defense of Democratic in Washington. Here is a simple summary of what just happened. This is the first official shot across the U.S. statute as a global reserve currency and not by American adversary hurt by the clause's ally. And once those benefits are the most in front of the status quo, openly revolt against it. Counter and the end of the USD reserve status officially began. Right. When asked about the comment on the letter, the Treasury Department issued a statement system entitled the Transactional Trade with the Iranians regime through any means and exposing themselves, considering a sanction risk. Exactly. If they expose themselves, this country will be sanctioned as well, and the Treasury intended to aggressively enforce our authority. U.S. IRE was sparkled by realization and alarm the crack appearing the dollar reserve status. Opponent of the Instex argued that at least public consumption purposes that the mechanism is flawed because the Iranian institution designed to work with Instex and special trade and financial institution have sharehold the link of entitled entities linked with entities and facing sanctions from the U.S. Separately, during the visit to London, May 8th, Mike Pompeo was warned that there were no need to for instance, because the U.S. allowed humanitarian and medical product to get into Iran without sanctions. When sanctions move beyond that, it doesn't matter what vehicle out there and transactions sectionable. We will evolve it. We will evaluate it, review it, and if possible, levy the sanction against those who were involved in that transaction. Pompeo said with very strong forward. In conclusion, one month ago, we said in 2018, European made a huge think about not being bounded by Trump unilateral breach of Iranian deals, said it would continue regardless of U.S. trade, but now that the threat is clearly escalated, Washington has made it clear that it will not take no for an answer, and will be interesting to see if European resolve and take on Trump, especially when the light on the trade war of China has fizzled. All right. The answers appear that the European felt unexpected, emboldened just hours before Trump meeting with Xi. Right now, Trump is at the G20 meeting in Japan right now. All right, and the biggest meeting is with China about the trade deal, and that is already willing to call Trump bluff. To goes without saying that the U.S. indeed retaliate the process with a sanction against European banks, and the global trade war is about to turn far uglier. All right, so it's very bleak right now. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, so all these entities right now are doing this deal with Iran right now, right? So basically, this article just encompasses that Trump don't like what they're doing right now because they're trying to make a different organization try to circumvent the sanctions by not using American dollars or American money. If I picked up right, if I interpret this article correctly, all right. So by circumventing, so they don't have to use American dollars, but Trump found out that if you're gonna do this, man, we'll put you in sanction, all right. And I don't think Trump is not the one the guy bluff with, all right. He's a boss, all right. So let's see this how it turn out, all right. Leave a comment below what's your opinion on the article. Do you think he's gonna call it a bluff? Do you think it's a way to make these people bow down? All right, leave your article below. Because of what I'm saying, YouTube don't want to monetize my channel. Because I'm not monetized, I'm not scripted and rehearsed and edit. I mean, I can say whatever I want without being bound by any outside interference. All right. And because of that, I'm not taking any donations because the point of this channel is to get people to think for themselves. Right? If you like what I do, please like, share, subscribe, because when you like, share, subscribe, it encourages me to make more videos. When I make more videos, I set your YouTube algorithm. When YouTube algorithm is saturated, I make my video more brought to a more expansive audience. When I do that, I might get people to think for themselves. All right? And on that note, guys, I know time is very precious. I'm not wasting their time. Please like, share, subscribe. Because you like, it helps a lot. But on that note, guys, thanks for listening. This is the HighlyEvolvedPodcast. My name is Stefan. I'm signing out. Peace.